It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Just do it. That's not only a great tagline and slogan for Nike. There's a reason that Nike kept that around for so long, is because there is a great condition within human nature is that we just let life happen.
Yep.
It just happens. I mean, one day you wake up and you go, wow, I'm 10 years older. What did I accomplish over the last decade? Nike came out with a slogan and said, just do it. And I think you kind of have to grab that mantra and do that for your own financial life as well, is because you got to, look, there's not a single goal that doesn't turn into something big and fulfilling that you don't look back on and go, how the heck did I get here? I will tell you, if I look at us in this YouTube channel and I look at all the multiple cameras that we have going on here and all the other stuff, I'm like, how do you do that? It would never, the guy in 2006 couldn't have done that. You have to start with baby little steps. And so you avoid that analysis paralysis that will totally destroy what's going on in your financial life.
You can't do step number 8, 9, 10 unless you've done step 1, step 2, step 3. And you need to start somewhere. There's like a saying that it's much easier to steer a ship that's in motion than a ship that's still. Maybe that's not actually a saying, but that's a true thing. It's hard to get something moving from a dead standstill. If you can at least start moving in that direction, it's amazing how much more successful
the momentum
you can be.
definitely builds. And that's why I can tell you, I look back at my life. It's one of the things about getting older is that you can look back on your life and try to glean some wisdom of what, because one of our clients says one of the greatest things. He says, you'll never know when you've worked your best day.
That's right. Yep.
And it's a true statement. You don't know what one act you'll do that's going to change your life forever. But I can, when you get a little age under you and you start having a little success, I can look and see 3 steps, 3 little small actions I took that have had huge consequences in my life. The first one, I went from being a finance major at the University of Georgia to an accounting major.
Okay.
There's a lot of reasons that I should have never done that. I shared with you guys, I don't come from a background with anybody who comes from a financial background. My parents believed CDs were your best investment. And when you get into an accounting program at Georgia, by the way, they had a weeder class where they kicked people out. They also, I will tell you, this is the craziest thing. The majority of the kids that were in the accounting program had parents or relatives that already worked in the financial field.
Yeah,
so it was very intimidating when we got to like the tax project where they're all just going to mom and dad's accounting firms and running it through the tax software. And then Brian's over there with his calculator and trying to, I was like, I am going to be a failure at this. I could have played a victim very easily and be like, well, I guess I just don't have the background. This is for only those rich kids that come from a financial background. No, I could have been a limiting belief that didn't let that happen. So just changing from finance to accounting opened up some tremendous opportunities for me. Here's the other one. When I went for my second interview, because accounting firms started coming to the University of Georgia and interviewing. Had my first interview with an accounting firm up in Marietta, Georgia, and the partner saw where I was from, and he says, hey, we represent a hardware store that's in your hometown. And I was like, oh, I know that hardware store. I immediately thought when I heard that, I was like, dadgummit, why did I quit Boy Scouts? Because the guy who owned that hardware store was the scoutmaster for the Boy Scouts locally. And Brian being a wimpy weirdo, as I've told you, I don't like sleeping outside. Straight up, one of the first things you'll find out, if you want to go hiking or camp, I like hiking. If you want to go camping, Brian's not your Huckleberry.
I think it's called glamping is what you like to do.
I like to stay in a hotel room. Better yet, I like staying in my own bed.
Fair enough.
But it's one of those things where it's just not me. So I was worried because here's what I did. I got my first job. They told me this years after I started working at this firm. The only reason they hired me is they were so impressed that I went and interviewed one of their clients. And that client was the hardware store owner. I could have stayed away from him because I knew he didn't love me back at that time because I was the kid that quit Boy Scouts. I was the wimpy kid that quit, but I still got in my uncomfortable zone, went and interviewed him. That got me my first job at a public accounting firm because I wasn't I was a good student, but I wasn't what I call a front row sitter. So it was one of those things. And then the third thing was that podcast. Not caring just starting that podcast set in the chain reaction of all this other stuff where we now have a studio, which is unbelievable.
And by the way, when you started the podcast, it wasn't like we have the hundreds of thousands of folks that listen now. It was screaming into a void of nothing, right?
Yeah.
It was just
with horrible equipment.
Yeah.
With horrible equipment that sounds. You can go still listen to that 2006 episode. If you go to moneyguy.com, go check out our archives. It's out there. So that's some of the things you got to just do it, get the process going. Let me go ahead and give you some other tools that will help you just do it and keep the process going. A budget. Now, full disclosure, I hate budgeting. I do detest trying to track every receipt of what I'm spending. But I got to go ahead and tell you, budgeting is practice and getting you ready for the big game. Your big break, your big opportunity. The more you do it, the better you get at it.
And the more it becomes like muscle memory. It's like a golf swing. You've been managing finances for so long that you don't have to budget to know where your cash flow management plan is going. Once you've done it enough, it becomes second nature.
Yeah, I mean, you will get that 10,000 hours. Malcolm Gladwell, we were talking about biases, and, he has great books out there on David versus Goliath.
Right.
He's also got Outliers, which talks about that 10,000 hour principle. You do get better at things if you just put the time in. And that leads to the next thing was that after you get through budgeting and graduate from that, you can have a better cash management system through forced scarcity.
That's right.
And what all forced scarcity is you create a plan of action for every dollar in your army of dollar bills, and the fact that they automatically just disappear. Like I have automatic forced savings, automatic forced things that get funding goals. It just happens. I've gotten so good at budgeting that I don't have to think about it, because when all the stuff just goes out of the account, whatever's left over, I can spend however I want because I've already funded paying debt. I've given to the charities that I want to give to, and I've funded all the retirement and savings goals and the kids. It's all happening through that good practice of budgeting that led to a better cash management plan like forced scarcity. You'd put in here talking about crazy risk.
Yeah, I just thought that, if you're going to just do it, what that means is go take steps towards doing the things you need to do. What it doesn't mean is go out there and be irresponsible, go out there and be negligent, go out there and be a cowboy. So we just kind of snowballed some ideas that we think are just a little bit too risky. Maybe it's really risky investments. Maybe you think just do it. Hey, I want to go be wealthy. I'm going to go buy that crazy option strategy, or I'm going to start day trading penny stocks. Yeah. That might not be the thing that you just need to do. Maybe you're someone who's out there and you haven't done the basics like having wills and life insurance in place. You're focusing on all these things that you want to do and these things that you want to accomplish, but you haven't done the foundational stuff to make sure that you and your family are taken care of. Maybe you're someone who we've been in a really good economy for the last 10 years. The market's been kind. Maybe you're a little too lean on your cash reserves. Maybe one of the things is you just need to do it and get your cash in place where it needs to be. And then maybe you're someone who's just done a little too much and you've accumulated some debt. You have credit card debt or too much mortgage, or you have consumer debt. Whatever that is, that might not be what you need to be doing. That might not be, maybe just doing the right thing is just undoing some of the things that you've done previously.
So, I mean, we've covered a lot. And this is not the normal Money Guy episode. We are much more in the weeds. I mean, we got a CFA. We're both CFPs. I'm also a CPA. You've heard me tell the accounting stories. So we're analytical guys. So this touchy-feely stuff, but I felt like it was so important because I have recognized the older I get, this invisible hand of what your biases or things that are working against you, that inner voice, you got to have a plan of action. So that's why the sooner you can get, let's just quickly in summary, understand your biases, understand your blind spots. The sooner you know what makes you a weirdo or things that are limiting your beliefs, the sooner you can create accommodations. Is this going to be in a long drawn out story of success? Is this going to be, are your negatives just going to be that quirky facet that makes you kind of that inspirational story because you have some small weird things about you that you've overcome? Or is this going to be the thing that just destroys you and takes you down and doesn't let you reach your maximum potential? That's what we want you to do. Don't be a victim. Overcome these things. Control that inner voice. And then, by God, just do it. At the end of the day, just make something happen. That sounded like the nerdiest statement ever, didn't it?
I loved it.
But
I loved it.
I tell you, because I get so passionate about this, is because, guys, neither one of us come from legacy wealth.
That's right.
We come from pretty humble beginnings. Definitely Bo comes from super humble beginnings. There is an opportunity out there for you. And I love it. That's why I get so passionate about this, is because I've seen what we can do. You can do it too. So go out there. I feel like this is like my Tony Robbins.
Yeah, we're about to go run through the
We're not going to go run through some coals of fire, but it is one of those things. I want you to go to moneyguy.com. I want you to give us your email address, your zip code. So when we take this thing on the road, We can talk to you. We can meet with you. And then don't forget what our day job is we're fee-only financial advisors, work with clients all over the country. If you love what we say, and maybe this is your first episode, this is not the normal episode, go check out the archives. Go check out what we got going on YouTube. Look at the other analytical stuff. I think you'll be hooked. And there's going to come a point where you're going to realize we'll continue to love on you. We'll grow you. I want you to apply. I want you to learn these concepts. There's going to come a point you become so successful that you're going to say, I have an empire now. I need somebody to look over my shoulder and help me. That's when you're going to pay us forward and you're going to pay us back by going to aboundwealth.com or moneyguy.com, going to the contact us page and taking the relationship to the next level. What did we leave off, Bo?
I think you nailed it all.
So guys, what you don't know, when this show gets published, this will be our third show. Actually, fifth show if you take the Ask the Money Guy segments. We crushed it because we love doing this. This is what we were put on this planet for, and we thank you guys for just being a part of it. And starting this thing in 2006, it would have never happened without you guys emailing us, writing us, and letting us know that this was helping you, because this is not some corporate venture where it's got some big Fortune 500 company that's pushing us. This is all grassroots, you guys making it happen and helping us out. So thank you so much. I'm your host, Brian Preston. Mr. Bo Hansen. We'll be back soon.